So what has changed since Ben Crump has came into the picture? And I'll wait. Nothing. Not a fucking thing. It's the same shit since day one. Before Ben Crump even came, his dog. Nobody needs Ben Crump. He is here for the money. He's here for the money. That is it. That is all. And then somebody said, well, we need him to push it out to the mainstream media. No, we don't. We got TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, X, and all that other social media platforms. Nobody even watches mainstream media anymore. So nobody needs Ben Crump. He's getting over on black people. He's playing on black people's heartstrings, and that is what he's good at. If you want to check, hire Ben Crump. If you want justice, you don't hire Ben Crump.
She's right about that.
I had a lady write me yesterday after church. She was so upset. And she just was mad that I don't hate white people. That really was the whole conversation, was like, how dare you be a Republican, and how dare you not be like angry and full of hate and hate white people? Like that makes you not a man of God. That makes you not a Christian. That makes you just deceived, right? And I just could not believe that this woman told me she just left church. And I'm like, you're feeling full with that type of hate leaving church. It's just insane. I'm not oblivious to racism. That there's racism in our country, and it's not the majority of the issue for black people, especially. It's not, and there's definitely racism in the Republican Party. Some of it, just like there are in the Democratic Party. And I've called it out. I've been vocal. Some people don't like me because I do call it out. But what I am is not a victim. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to, as a Christian who believes that I'm victorious in Christ, going to continue to blame white people for all my problems. I'm not going to tell my child that they are a victim and that they have to be in fear because white people are so dangerous, when the reality is they have more of a chance to get shot around all black people than they do all white people. And that's the truth. So I refuse to do that. I refuse to tell people to get up every day seeing through the eyes of race and hatred and evil, because that's not how God is, right? That's not how God is. God tells us to walk in love. There's no colored section in heaven. There's no white section in heaven, right? God says that there's no neither Jew nor Gentile, free nor slave, right? He breaks the wall down between races, right? And true Christianity brings together all races.
He's absolutely right. And I understand exactly where he's coming from. People are going to be people. We need to stop acting like we live in this utopia where everybody's just great and perfect, and no one's going to hate anyone and no one's going to be prejudiced towards anyone. We got to stop it. There are, people who dislike one another from all walks. You got black folks saying crazy things. I've heard some white folks say some crazy things, and everything in between. Let's just keep it a buck. But this particular situation here, in reference to young Nolan Wells, and rest in peace to him, my condolences to his family. But the internet, once again, is interneting, because there are a plethora of situations going on in this country where there are young black people that are missing, that have lost their lives, and you don't hear the likes of Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, or anybody else out here marching, raising money, or anything else for these people. But this is convenient, because Nolan Wells happened to be on a boat at an island with a majority of people that are not as melanated as he is, and people immediately jump to conclusions. We got to check this interview out, not an interview, but debate between race hustling Teslin Figueroa and Officer Tatum. We got to get into it. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm sure this is going to be interesting. Let's go.
To the tragic case of Nolan Wells and the continued unanswered questions. Yesterday, we told you about newly released audio that the boat Wells was on broke down and needed assistance. That call came in around 4:30 p.m. And while, according to the Wells family and their attorney, Ben Crump, the teen was last seen on the island around 3 p.m. And they insist that they don't believe their son would intentionally stay behind on his own. Wells' mother, Christine Wansley, turned to social media and shared video of how she's dealing with the loss of her son. Watch.
This loss, this grief, this pain, it's different. It's insurmountable. And then it's like you get these flood of emotions all at different times, and grief is so multi-layered. You know, one second I might be okay and I can talk about things and I can listen to his stories, and then the next minute I am falling apart and I feel like I can't breathe, and I feel like there is an elephant just sitting on my chest.
Just absolutely heartbreaking for the family. We hope we can get them some answers too. Joining me now and soon. Joining me now is Revolt News Chief Political Correspondent Teslin Figaro and former police officer and host of the Officer Tatum show, Brandon Tatum. Great to see both of you. Thanks for being here. So, Brandon, let's start with you. Just from a law enforcement perspective, what do you make of the timeline, the lack of answers, what maybe occurred here?
Well, I think the first thing is that these activists have came in and brought in information or lies about circumstances to make people question. The law enforcement officers have already done an autopsy. They've already investigated. There's no sign of foul play. And one thing that's very interesting that I just found out recently is that it wasn't a situation where you have Nolan Wells and 4 of the kids at an island. There's thousands of people there. There's hundreds of different boats. So him staying behind while some of his other friends went back to the mainland wasn't that suspicious. I really wish that the family would focus on Nolan Wells' life, focus on the investigation, and let the police do their job instead of interjecting race into this situation. And it's completely unnecessary to be there at this point.
So, Teslin, you've worked with Ben Crump. You have valuable insight into how he operates. You're not speaking for him tonight, but what do you think about the timeline and whether it determines whether Nolan was still alive before the boat left the island, like his friends insist?
Yeah, thank you, Katie. I'm speaking as a mom, of a 19-year-old. In the same way Officer Tatum wishes that people would not insert lies, I wish Officer Tatum would allow the investigation, the independent investigation, to run its course. You don't know, Mr. Tatum, what has been talked about in this investigation. It has not been complete, and people have not came forward to say what happened with Nolan Wells. So I actually do believe his parents when they said that they taught their son to leave with whoever you came with.
I believe that. I believe that the parents may have taught them that. But any of you all that are parents out there, Lord knows I have, no longer teenage sons. I have sons that are in their 20s, and I taught them a whole host of things. And they've disregarded some of the things that I've taught, and they've bumped their heads, and they've come back and said, Dad, you was right. So we got to stop sitting here acting like children, are taught something, and they just follow the instructions of their parents wholeheartedly all the time. We know that's not true.
So for you to make the accusations that is a lie when they're burying their son on Monday is, quite frankly, to be disgusting, Officer Tatum.
Well,
and I'm ashamed.
You know what's funny? I hope that you're paying attention to this, because there's a lot of information that have come out, and I've gotten firsthand knowledge about some things that have happened on that island, and people are going to be ashamed of themselves for sitting here lying and pushing racism in this circumstance.
Well,
I don't know what happened, but I do know. I'll let you finish. I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just saying I got firsthand knowledge too. But as we're talking about right now, as we're talking about right now, you made the accusation that there were lies, that race has been interjected. Like I said last week, if people don't
lies from the people on TikTok, because we know that that's what they do, right? We know that the people on TikTok, the TikTok sleuths, the TikTok lawyers, the TikTok investigators, they ain't never been to Mississippi before. They made up and they got a whole bunch of things to say about this particular situation. We know this. Did happen the same thing, in the Carmelo Anthony case.
want people to speculate, then investigate. So this
that's true. Brandon, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that topic, because Ben Crump is notorious and has been criticized by people who have used him in the past for their cases of being an ambulance chaser, pushing a narrative that fits the racial lens that he wants it to. You've talked about this on your podcast and how you believe young black men are unfortunately killed every single day. And people like Ben Crump and Al Sharpton just highlight certain stories that benefit them rather than the families.
Absolutely. We know that they do it. They know that they do it. And the fact that Teslin had spoke about it on her podcast, which I don't listen to, but everybody knows this. Juneteenth. Think about how many young black people lost their lives. Think about the 4th of July weekend, how many young black people lost their lives. And you hear nothing from Black Lives Matter. You hear crickets from Ben Crump and Al Sharptongue and the rest of these race hustling fools, because they can't get a check off of it. They can't make any money off of it. But the first time that there is any form of something that they can say, oh, this might be a racial element, even though they may know that there is no racial element here. These people, these youngins, Nolan and these guys, they've been hanging out for a very long time. But they could get a check out of this. And that's why. And honestly, the Marxists, those on the left, their goal is to keep up this racial division. That's their goal. The goal ultimately is to keep Black folks on the Democratic plantation by using racial division. Teslins is nothing more than, a operative, in that play as well.
Well, let's keep it real. This is all about money. Benjamin Crump will never show up to a kid's funeral or say anything about a kid that's killed by another Black kid. But if there's an opportunity to interject racism into a situation where there's no evidence of racism, Benjamin Crump will be there to do it. What is his end goal? He's not a criminal. He's not a criminal attorney. So he's not going to help the family get justice on a criminal level. He's a civil rights attorney. You don't need a civil rights attorney in a case where you're wondering if the investigation is going right for your son, unless you believe this has something to do with racism.
Let him finish, and then I'll let you talk. Okay, let him finish his point, and then I'll let you respond.
He's going on a diatribe. So
no, he's not. He's speaking, and I'll let you.
A diatribe? Oh, Lord.
I'll let you respond as soon as he's done making his point.
Katie, I'll let the young lady go. Go ahead. I would love to hear what you got to say today.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, Officer Tate. Thank you. Well, let's just once again, speaking about things that you don't know about. Katie, you set it up with talking about Ben Crump being notorious for race baiting. I could name a couple of things that Officer Tatum here is also notorious for.
Always pointing the finger instead of actually addressing the point made.
So let's be careful on how we
don't need these personal attacks.
I'm gonna finish my statement. I'm gonna finish my statement, and let me also correct you on something else, Mr. Tatum. When you said Ben Crump would never show up for a Black kid that was murdered by a Black kid, my cousin Jordan Turner, who was 19 and was murdered by another Black kid that also went away with his friends and never returned home. Guess who showed up? Attorney Benjamin Crump. I know you're looking confused. See, this is why it's important
was that related to Black people? Was Black people involved in his death?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, that's
and they were convicted. And they were convicted.
And we didn't hear about it plastered all over the media. That's a big difference.
This is why you don't know. This is why you should speak of what you know and not what you heard. So again, when it comes down to Nolan Wells, I ask that we use this time to ask people to come forward and speak about what they know. The young man did not come home, Brandon. He didn't come home. So let's use this time instead of focusing on what people are saying in the comments. Let's continue to stay in.
Brandon, I mean, Ben Crump is the one making this conversation in the media. Ben Crump is the one making this conversation in the media. He's the one pushing this out there, so people do speculate ahead of the investigation, not letting it play out. But Brandon,
yeah, I mean, soon as this incident reared its head, Ben Crump was on it. Then they held a press conference with Al Sharptongue. And for her to come out here and throw out something that may or may not be true, we know they be lying. So this is probably not even true. And from what I heard is that Teslin and Ben Crump have a relationship of some sort. So for you to say, well, my cousin or whoever it was, nephew, whoever it was that, unfortunately lost their life at a young age, Ben Crump showed up for that. He could have just showed up because you all are friends and y'all have a relationship. We didn't hear Ben Crump out in Chicago, when 5 people lost their lives over Juneteenth weekend. We didn't hear a word from them. There was no sensationalizing of this. It wasn't plastered all across the daggone news. These people are ridiculous. They're so disingenuous. She is such a disingenuous individual.
I want to ask you this question. Teslin, 1 second. Brandon, there's been a lot of accusation and pushing that Nolan Wells' white friends have not been questioned enough as if they were somehow responsible for his death based on race. That seems like a highly irresponsible narrative to be pushing, especially when we don't know all of the facts yet.
100%. It is a flat out lie. The police department isn't doing their investigation. They're doing it fair and properly. Benjamin Crump cannot come out right now and say that the investigation isn't going like it should. They're interjecting race into something that has nothing to do with race. These boys were friends. The coach came out, who happened to be a Black man, that said he don't believe race is a factor. These boys grew up together. These boys go to school together. This is a tragic situation, and they should leave it at what it is, and that's a tragedy. Let the investigation unfold. Benjamin Crump they're already out saying this has something to do with race because the boy was with white guys. That
They were
is
describing it.
asinine.
Just like you
That is
describe it when
shameful to start
just
that.
like you describe it when you talk about black on black crime constantly. So what a black man, a young black boy went with his white friends and didn't come back. So why are you not asking the white children to speak up? Nobody saw nothing, Brandon.
They are speaking.
They are speaking.
It has everything to do with the
Where-
fact that he didn't come home.
All right, we gotta
What's
run.
white got to do with anything?
We gotta
We're-
run.
no,
We
we're-
hope,
we're describing it, just
we
like
hope
you
that the
described it when
family
you
can
talk
get
about
some
black on black
answers
crime.
because a young man is dead, and we want his family to have closure. Teslim Figaro and Brandon Tatum, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
That's a daggone shame, man. She thinks she cooked. She thinks she did something, but she didn't. She actually just made herself look super foolish, but she's known for doing that. If you guys have had a chance to check out the Larry Elder interview on the Breakfast Club, where he just destroyed her on there. And then there's been other, times when she's just made herself look like a plum fool, but she thinks she cooked. And there's some people out there that will believe that she did, but she didn't. They've made this something that it isn't. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that as soon as Ben Crump jumped on it, they immediately pushed the race narrative, and all the TikTok and internet sleuths out there, they said, oh, it has to be foul play. The reason why these young people aren't speaking up, because they understand. And the reason why that they've, either paused, hibernated, or deleted their social media is because they would be harassed right now. They would have received all types of death threats. They would have been bombarded, with all types of messages and DMs, and calling them all out their name. They would have probably been doxxed. You guys know it, because these people refuse to just allow the investigation to take place. What we do know is, and for those of you all, that, are familiar with Georgia or familiar with any lakes, out there, there's a lake out there, Lake Lanier. Every year, without fail, young people perish in that daggone lake. Boats, alcohol, and drugs and partying. It's just not a recipe for, a good time and for a safe time. And we don't know what happened to young Nolan. And again, rest in peace to him. My condolences to his family. This is an unfortunate, awful tragedy. But allow the investigation to take place. Allow the police to do what they do first. And if they want to do an independent investigation, allow that to happen. But what people got to understand is that this isn't a situation that happened in a box. That crime scene had thousands of people around it. We're talking water, we're talking sand. This is not a, we can investigate, open and shut, close situation. This is just not that. It takes a while. There are so many people. There's, so much, space. You got to include water. I mean, it's a lot. And y'all are asking for the police to expedite something that really shouldn't be expedited. I think they should take their time. They should do their due diligence to make sure that when they address the people about what happened to young Nolan Wells, they can come with facts and accurate information. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Oh, one other thing. We are officially introducing the ARP YouTube Mastermind Group. We do it every third Monday of the month. And you get 90 minutes. Ask me questions. We'll help you with your channel. We'll help you grow on this platform if that is something that you would like to do. You'll see a link in the description box below if you are interested. That is the way that you sign up. The first session will be this upcoming Monday. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. I appreciate the love, support. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. And the Lord hit my chest, kicked death from my breath, put power in my step.